Welcome to a sporty part of Germany, because today we're heading straight back to the car pass, which sadly costs extra on top of the base game. Because today we're taking a look at the 2021 Volkswagen Golf R. This thing boasts 288 brake horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs a whopping 3,300 pounds. Taking a look at this thing, it looks pretty much like the previous generation Volkswagen Golf already in this game. In fact, to be fair, it looks pretty much the exact same, maybe aside from the rims. Going to the inside, it looks again pretty much the same. We do have a very nice center console with a massive screen down there, and what look to be digital gauges. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a listen. So here we are now inside the upgrade shop. We're going to jump straight over to conversions, see what we've got. We have an option for engine swaps. We've only got two available this time though. We have ourselves the 1.6 litre inline-4 turbo rally alongside the 2.5 litre inline-5 turbo. This thing does start out all-wheel drive stock, but we can go ahead and make it rear-wheel drive should we wish to. I don't know why you would, but you can. Going over to aero and appearance, we do have a lot for this car. Starting off with the front bumper, we have another Volkswagen variant, which actually does look pretty cool. And we have the Varis race front bumper as well, alongside the classic little bit of Forza aero right here. Going to the rear wing, we have another Volkswagen option, which doesn't really change much, but we do also have the Varis wing as well, which adds kind of like wind deflectors to the back, I think. And then we have ourselves the classic Forza rear wing. As for the back bumper, we have ourselves this little option from Volkswagen right here, which does look pretty cool and also brings the exhaust tips to the center. We also have the Varis rear bumper as well, which I've got to say is not too bad, but I kind of prefer this. The upgrades don't stop there, because we have the Varis side skirts for this thing, which, okay, I can't lie, that actually does look pretty cool. I do like that. And then we go to the bonnet, which once again is from Varis, and I've got to say, there's not too much to say about this thing, aside from the fact that it adds just a giant vent in it. But I've got to say, for a tiny little Golf like this, I do like the fact we have some customization for it. Now, usually we'd have a Mac tune up here, but sadly it's a bit busy this week. But this week we do have a tune from one of our viewers. This is from John E. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code very quickly. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead, download and install and see what we've got to work with. And it's going to be interesting because apparently this thing's on drag tyres for a race build. However, with these upgrades, we're now just a little heavier at 3,351 pounds with a whopping 406 brake horsepower at the top of B class. So these upgrades applied. Here we are now over in the paint shop. Let's go over to advanced, where sadly there isn't anything this time around. Going over to manufacturer colours though, we have ourselves a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colours to choose from. And I've got to say, I find it interesting. You can have this thing like a really weird purple pink hybrid colour. Or if you want to be eco-friendly, you can have it in green. You know, I keep forgetting how long it takes to save this stuff. Now, unlike most cars in these videos where I say, oh, I've not seen many of these, I've not seen many of these, or I've not seen one of those, the Volkswagen Golf is one of the cars that I have probably seen the most. In fact, I've seen quite a fair few of these, and a few of them have been Golf Rs indeed. But the only thing is, I've not seen one like this, because this one's left-hand drive, and over here in the UK, we have our cars, well, right-hand drive for some reason. However, now it's time for us to take this thing with all of its drag tyres, 400 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive glory, road racing, to try and see if we can do what we normally do and finish in first place. It's going to be very, very interesting, because I've not really driven a car that's got drag tyres for any purpose other than drag racing. This thing is horribly understeery, but it is so far surviving the track. As to how is beyond me. Well though, however, slowly but surely making our way through the pack. We've got a Hyundai that's dived down in front of us. We've managed to get past. We're up into third place so far. Also, random thought. I can't help but thinking, because this car's bright green, it reminds me of every single LV advert I think I've ever watched in my life. Now, I've tried to look up the numbers of how many Volkswagen Golfs were made and how much it's going to cost to repair that dent. And the numbers for both are all over the place, because a lot of places estimate there's around 5,000 of these made per year, and other places recommend roughly around 12,000 are made per year. Recommend 12,000? Estimate 12,000? Ah, close enough. But the one figure I can provide is the price of this thing, or rather the price is, because the newest range for this is roughly around 27 to 34,000 pounds, which is roughly this in US dollar. And there is one for sale that I have seen recently, which is roughly around 31,000, which I can't lie, at 31,000 for something like this is way too expensive. Right, 95%, one more turn to go. There's a Golf ahead of us. Can we cut the corner? We kind of can, but it's not going to be enough, because across the line we go, still holding on to a podium, but this time with a second place and a time of 2 minutes 22. To be honest, I'm surprised I was able to even get a podium with drag tyres. But anyway, in the meantime, at this point, I'd usually take a look at the backstage. However, this is currently being filmed in advance because as you're watching this, I'm probably still on holiday. So with Mac on holiday and me on holiday, it now falls down to me to try and make this thing a little bit of a drag build. So let's go ahead, throw in the 2.5 litre inline 5 turbo and try and see if I can make this thing wheelie, because that's what Max tunes are known for, and I've got a reputation to live up to. And that means as much as I hate to do it, I'm going to have to make this thing rear wheel drive. Oh, and then we just have to chuck in a whole bunch of power. And while we're at it, yeah, anti-lag's the way to go. Now, from what I remember, Max tunes usually have 4-speed gearboxes, so let's throw it in and hope for the best. So with these upgrades, we're now sat at just a shade under 2,660 pounds, with just over 860 brake horsepower, roughly around halfway through S1. However, now the fun begins of me having to figure out how to tune this thing, because I'm not good at doing that. By the way, if for some reason you want the share code of this tune, it'll be on screen now. Right, here we are now over at the edge of the festival, so let's go ahead, see if we get a wheelie check out of this thing. Have I done my job? The answer is sadly not. Do we get anything in reverse, maybe? The answer to that is also no. I think I'll leave that job to the professional for now. In the meantime, here I am now over the edge of the festival drag strip. We've got somebody over there that's probably going to just fly off into the distance. But we're on launch control, so let's go ahead, get ready. 3, 2, 1, away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of this thing. This thing is quite heavy, less than 1,000 brake horsepower. Let's go ahead and see what we can get out of it. I'm not holding out for much, but I'm hoping for something relatively decent. Through the camera at 181 miles an hour, and off the end of the runway, drag strip, whatever you want to call it, at 200 and something, and as per usual, oh dear. Well, it refused to brake, so I guess that's one tradition kept. Okay, so it's half there, half not. In the meantime, let's go ahead and jump over to conversion, go over to drivetrain swap, make this thing all-wheel drive once again, because we're going to go ahead and turn this drag build into a bit of a top speed build, which thankfully, because we've done half the preparation work already, we shouldn't need to do too much. So let's go on to semi-slicks, and I think, if we're lucky, that's all we need to do. Turns out I forgot to put it on race suspension. Oops. And apparently I've somehow also made it heavier. So it turns out I forgot something else. The gearbox. Well, now the gearbox is installed, let's go ahead and return to tuning this thing. At this point, I'd usually show the Forzathon shop, but as I'm currently stuck in last series, that's going to have to wait till the weekend. Right, now it's time to go ahead and see how close have we gotten to the motorway grade today, and today I think we've gone a bit too far forward. To be fair, it makes the change from too far back. Anyway, here we are now over the edge of the motorway, so let's go ahead, get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go with the Volkswagen Golf. Not much power, quite heavy, but I'm still hoping for a good top speed. Or at the very least, a moderate top speed. Okay, out of the speed zone we go at 229.19 miles an hour. We've still got a downhill and the speed trap to go, and so far this thing is still climbing. Which means, to be fair, it's doing much better than I thought it would. Okay, the camera's up here somewhere. There it is, 235.95, going downhill now, 238, 239, 240 out of this thing, nearly a transit, 241 miles an hour out of this tiny little Golf. Where's the sign? There it is, on the brakes we go, down through the gears. Do we get a good stopping distance out of this thing? The answer to that is surprisingly, yes we do. Although as we all know, this thing's got one more test ahead of it. So this thing's decent at top speed, not great in racing, not great in drag racing. Can it prove itself at drifting? Let's go ahead and find out. The answer is no, that's a bridge. Okay, time for take 2. Right, here we are now at our local drift zone. Let's go ahead and chuck in the Golf and see what we can do. We are very sideways in this thing. A lot of tyre smoke, but does it mean a lot of points? Well, 35,987 of them seem to agree. Totally did that first time. Right, now it's time for round number 2. 35,900 is the score to beat, and so far we've put it in a barrier, which is not too good. Let's try and see if we can drift our way out of there at 37,435. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it would do better. In the meantime though, that's this video on the 2021 Volkswagen Golf R. It's available on the car pass if you want it for some reason. I mean, to be fair, if you want it as a good cruising car or maybe something to show off with, then it's not too bad. But if you want it for racing, drag racing, drifting or top speed, then really it's not worth it. Okay, that's a lie. Maybe the top speed's worth it, but not much else. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And if you've got a car that you think I should have a look at, do go ahead and let me know in the comments. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya. Right, back to the garage for this one.